Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the J22 Report. I am your host, Johnnie Market. You all know that drill. Smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't. And just remember the disclaimer nothing should be construed as financial investment advice. Just my opinions, thoughts on the markets, and big news today. I actually went to sell a little silver. Not today, but yesterday. I probably should have waited till today. I had other errands to do, but still, don't worry, I'm still well positioned. Um, I just, as things go up, I sell a little bit, and then when there's obvious top signs, that's when I get out, and that's sort of what I do. So anyway, the store I went to, which was strange, this coin shop, I really like it. I've really gotten to know them. They told me something very interesting that, and this is one reason I think my strategy does work, that they weren't buying 90% silver anymore. Now, I have a friend in the business because I used to work in it. He told me he'll buy mine. He has his own company. But anyway, he has his own business. But I was shocked. They said, sorry, the refiners, they said it's too expensive to get 90%. And I said, well, they said it's too expensive and the refineries uh, only want the pure coin, so they're not buying. So anyway, long story short, uh, insane. So I don't think all are like that because my friend in the business, he has his. I used to work with him, and then he went and did his own thing. I career changed and became an accountant. And anyway, he has his own place to buy. So he sells and whatever. And so a lot of them, where it's businesses or friends in the business, a lot of them told me that everyone is selling. Everyone is selling. So I don't think this is the top, not because of the retail, just because I still think my target's around 75, 80, maybe even 100. I think it's been, but I also want to see the mainstream pump it more. They pumped it a little bit, but they have not. I don't know any normies. I mean, no, there are some normies. Someone in my family said they want to buy gold, but they don't want to. They sort of want to wait. This was like during Thanksgiving, and they were telling me how the U.S. was going on the gold standard, and I was like, "Yeah, right. It's not happening." I kept my mouth shut, but yeah, it's not happening. We have to deal with the debt before we even think about it. So I just thought I'd share those things that their stores they're not buying 90% anymore. This is just a regular nickel. It's actually the one with nickels that has 70% copper in it. I can't find anyone to buy my copper stuff. I'm trying. I have all these things. This is filled with copper pennies. You want to know what type of a hoarder I am? I can't really see it, but it's all copper pennies. In fact, look at this. You want to know how old some of these pennies I have are? It's like a 1 cent. Yeah, it's because I blur the background, but I'm actually on Saturday going to these, and since I can't sell them, it's gonna make a deposit with hundreds and hundreds of pennies that I have. So let's get into the news. Maybe I shouldn't have said that publicly, but no, it's only like a couple of bucks. It's not like I'm making a huge. Literally, it's pennies. So, oh yeah, I was gonna go, but that's the last. Interesting stuff I read about U.S. labor market experience a hidden rece- recession. Of course, it's like no rhymes with bit Sherlock. Like, yeah, the economy's horrible. I mean, this is why I think like they're not releasing the data. The data's not all that great. Uh, oh, let's see if they. Let's see. I the whole shutdown got me out of the thing because I was thinking, but I mean the trade deficit's lower, but that's because people. It's probably because people are lower, but Continuing jobless claims, initial jobless claims. See, these mean nothing because a lot of the jobless claims could have come in October and everything, but now they're not there. So let me see. This week, I just want to get back into the swing. Monday, there's nothing there. Job openings, that's more than expected. ADP is actually 4.7. That was normally. So yeah, they open up, the data doesn't look that bad because it's probably a bounce, so that's probably why they opened up. The government employment cost, of course, that's big. Uh, Wait, the Fed interest rate decision. They're cutting rates, and I think they're going to cut even more. This is all about asset prices. And anyway, nothing of eventful. Let's get into why are they cutting rates? This is one reason. Look at this. They're skipping September jolts and publish both September and October together. So we don't know how home insurance costs continue to climb, premiums rising over 9% this year, more than 60%. And look at this, leaving homeowners paying more for less protection. So look at this. Previous jobs reports overstated the true numbers in recent years. Yeah, I mean, it's obvious. So, uh, here's the other thing you want to know that dollar stores continue to see higher income shoppers, even as consumer sentiment improves. So they're probably lying on this. Let's be honest. Look, dollar store chains, influx of higher income shoppers. So there it is. But they say we're bifurcating, the wealthy are doing well. Don't believe that for a second. The wealthy will never admit they're doing poorly. Trust me, I know. We are pleased to see a growth again in our total customer count, disproportionate coming from higher income households. Dollar General CEO. So there you go. It was Walmart. I covered this story. I first started out with Walmart, but Dollar Tree gained 3 million new shoppers across all income brackets. 60% of new shoppers are higher income households. 30% are middle income, earning between 60 to 100K. And then the rest, which is 10%, below 60K. Dollar Tree is not just for tough times with limited resources. So, there you go. Dollar Tree, a lot of look at this. Turning to other discount retailers such as Walmart, Costco, and TJ Maxx. TJ Maxx is actually a good store. I shop there. I love TJ Maxx. I'm not afraid to admit it. So there you go. Dollar Tree. Here it is. U.S. large and small bankruptcies are rising at an alarming rate. So more companies, more bankruptcies. So let's see if they actually have anything. So I don't know if there's anything more. Bankruptcies. Let's see if there is. More companies are struggling. It's not even an article, so. But there you go. More housing markets are shifting towards buyers, but is that enough to make them want to buy? No, prices have to come down. They have to come down a lot more, and this is not enough. Home buyers are gaining ground. Mortgage rates are hovering near to date lows, and a growing number of metro areas. One thing I found out very interesting, I watched this video on the Rebel Capitalist, which is like a normie podcast, like normie. But anyway, one interesting thing is very interesting. It was something about rage delisting and how delistings are all. Oh, the other thing that in the case and Schiller and a lot of these indexes, they don't even include the price of new homes. So these home prices and a lot of these things are completely inflated. And I thought that was very interesting. I just wanted to share it with you. Uh, Many of these newfound buyers markets lack buyers. Yeah, it's not a buyer's market. It's too expensive. That's the problem. Sellers outnumber buyers nationwide by 37%, creating the strongest buyer's market since 2013. They're in control and they have more inventory to choose from, which limits home price appreciation. So yeah, it's small affordability gains aren't enough to unfreeze the housing market. Yeah, either incomes have to really go up or home prices have to really drop. They're not going to get incomes aren't going up, so yes, home prices are dropping. So buyers are making inroads in Houston, San Antonio, Nashville, Jacksonville, Florida. Oh yeah, cities like Cincinnati, Milwaukee are transitioning to buyers markets. So anyway, nothing really that big, but I would say, yeah, lower prices are gonna come more. So my area is gonna be the last to get it, but here, speaking of more, the new suburban crisis, because mansions are quietly turning into ghost neighborhoods. Yeah, I thought the wealthy and upper income, look at this. Numbers don't lie. Vacancy rates paint a stark picture. Let's see. Average cost of new homes. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Don't need that. I forgot. Lower satisfaction rates. Big houses become burning. 50% of U.S. households have 1 to 2 individuals in them. That's interesting. Home buyers prefer smaller, more manageable homes. So their property values in free fall. So there you go. I mean, this is just one of those things. Traditional fixes don't work. So there you go. Suburban. This I found interesting. I finally get the update on the commercial real estate crisis. Deal volume drops for the first time in nearly 2 years. Commercial real estate has had a rough go after gaining momentum. October, negative year over year transaction volume. So there you go. You have negative recovery in commercial real estate, slow and bumpy. No, it's just not recovering. It's not slow and bumpy. It's just uh so I already said that. October first month, negative year over year volume. They didn't say price, they said volume. Stalemate going on between buyers and sellers. So there you go. The volume is starting to decline, and when volume starts declining, eventually prices start to kind of. I found this interesting. Harvard Endowment Fund. increased his holding in Bitcoin and gold. Gold is now Ivy League. It's for the elite now. Gold is Ivy League. So there you go. More, I mean, Jordan Royburn said something very interesting that precious metals is critically underowned, and yeah, I expect more and more to buy. So Harvard, and then look at this. You thought this was over. I covered this before, but Canadian provinces doing with all U.S. liquor, and this is why most economists are bad because they don't factor in nationalism when they talk about economic policy and the policies needing to be done. Yeah, so pulled from millions of dollars worth of U.S. alcohols pulled from shelves, now gathering dust in stockrooms. Look at this. Two provinces are now selling this remaining inventory and donating the proceeds to charity. I don't know what. One province is offloading it to restaurants and bars instead of selling it to the public. Some said they're not sure what they do. Only two provinces are selling to the U.S. booze, and that's Alberta and Saskatchewan. So, so in Canada, controlled by provincial, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it, governments which operate boards. And so here, a top selling product was Kentucky bourbon. Here it is, though. Removing U.S. alcohol from the shelves is the right thing to do. But they added province does not want products to expire and then just be destroyed. So, of course, in August, they'll have to destroy 300,000 worth of American products. So, decline in sales is very troubling, says U.S. Liquor Council. So, there it is. Like, I'm not big. Like, I don't. I'm not big. I don't want to say I'm a big fan of Canada because I really like the people there. When I sold precious metals, they were always my favorite customers. They were always easy to deal with and whatnot. They're very polite. Uh, so I like, I mean, when I say I'm just not a fan of what they're doing, but like in culture wise, I love hockey. I think lacrosse is the official sport in Canada, believe it or not. I'm very familiar with Canada. Lacrosse, the official, yeah, look at this. Yeah, it's one of Canada's national sports. Oh, it's the national summer sport. Hockey is the national winter sport. So there's two national lacrosse and hockey. I bet you didn't know that. You probably think it's hockey, but no, Canada, they're always polite. Uh, Based on my experience, the women are very pretty. Uh, like, I mean, it is in a lot of ways, it's a great country. Uh, so in a lot of ways, but right now it has a lot of problems like the US. And yeah, so anyway, and this is the other thing. This is what I predict is there's going to be a mass exodus out of the US. Got divorced and left the US at 57 to retire alone. And then they talked about its pros and cons. And anyway, Said she thought she'd be happier, save more money, more freedom. She was right mostly. So, I mean, here's the thing. People, they forget nationalism. Like, I'm moving overseas next year to Poland. In terms of fitting in, I'll never be Polish. I'm an American by birth and blood. But I'm married to a Polish woman, a Polish family, and a lot. So I'll enjoy it, and it's gonna be much cheaper. Uh, but anyway, pros and cons to moving to Europe, cheap rent. It's just this is what people, a lot of Americans don't understand. Uh, so we went to Lavelle, Paris. I hope I didn't butcher the name. And look at this. She doesn't regret moving, but it's been a good decision. Yeah, it's not always easy moving to another country. Oh yeah, definitely do that. I have friends who tried to move to another country and ended up not. Of course, they went to like the most nationalistic country. And they were just not a fit. I mean, it was a bad change. I'm not going to air my friends and whatnot, dirty laundry, stuff that happened 10 or 15 years ago. But look at this. Life is more affordable and less stressful. I don't worry about affording healthcare, staying in the rat race, or keeping up with the high cost of living, which is true. It's much better. She's now retired in Italy. Gosh, I'm jealous. I don't make a lot, but cost of living makes it much easier. And I don't feel like I have to struggle financially like I would in the US. And this is why we're going to see a mass exodus with people out of the United States. It's because of cost of living. Forming new friendships can be challenging experience. I would say it depends on where you go, uh, and who you are. Like, yeah, Paris is the most cosmopolitan city. I would assume, yeah, that something like this, private club, not fun. Yeah. So yeah, said many locals rely on word of mouth, which yeah, could be true. I mean, I'm looking at play like my wife's looking at Poland, and she's luckily my wife's Polish, so she knows all the people. So the easiest way to find is through a friend. And relationships are the connective in Europe. Know somebody you can trust, make an introduction, and then do business. And then look at this. Housing is relatively more affordable. So yeah, you don't want to solve this housing prices or you want to artificially keep housing prices. This is what's going to happen. A lot of people, they're going to leave. And that's one thing. Now let's go to gold. How about gold and the Fed rate cut? The Fed cut rates, and it has to, because their whole goal is to inflate asset prices. And that's their whole goal is to help people own assets. Now there is a diminishing return, and that's why the economy is so bad. Is more Americans are not owning assets, and each passing day, the elderly they pass away, and so well, they don't own assets anymore, and then people for tax reasons have to sell those assets, and then they're back to not owning. And they probably pay off their debts or whatnot. So yeah, gold had a big day today. It's 42.69. Silver's at 63, going at all-time highs. And a lot of people called for corrections. When you hear every analyst calling for a correction, it's probably not when it's going to happen. And so I'm big on. I mean, I don't think this is the top. I think there's more and more. But the thing is, in my opinion, you should be selling. This is what I'm doing, not investment advice. I just sell a little bit and keep selling up to the top. So I still have a good amount of physical left, but I've sold a good amount too. And the main reason is I didn't sell much during the first run up from 2008 to 2011. I really regret it. I wish I did. And now, and I could have bought back a lot more. And markets, they end, bull markets end, bear markets begin. This time's no different. Stay humble on the markets. I don't have any stop losses on my miners, but but I don't have any stop losses on the miners, but I'll probably put some on in the future. I always say my target's 75, 80 to 100. And gold, I still think it will get to 5,000. I remember I talk about this ad nauseum, the auto loans, credit card loans, bad job markets, commercial real estate, housing market, all that deflationary forces are still there. So it's like any market, the party doesn't last forever. The stock market's doing well. I think that's going to 7,000. I think this is almost over. This is the interesting thing. Let me see. And you see the AI bubble start to pop. Let's go to Oracle. That's where I'm gonna go. Of course, I can't just uh let's see if we can finally. That's the one thing I like about Google Finance. Uh is that as soon as it there's like the first every article it has is right there. But if you look at this Oracle, the stock stinks as AI costs jump. Everyone says AI is a panacea, but stock fell 11% Thursday. AI costs rose ahead of expectations and revenue fell short. So I'm saying I may not be a tech guy, but I know what revenue is and I know what expenses are, and AI does not win in that department. So, yes, this is a bubble. It's going to tank, and you're going to see these companies. Let's just see what Oracle did. Let's just see what it did for the week. So Oracle, yeah, down 24. Look at this. Down 10% just today. So we'll just do a 5 day, down 7%. A lot of it came today, but 7.2. So you can see this AI bubble it's popping and it's gonna pop hard. And anyway, just remember, nothing should be construed as financial investment advice. Just my opinions, thoughts on the market. Try to get more videos going. I had problems with my computer, so anyway, I'll talk to you later. Just remember the disclaimers, and I'll see you.